This is a follow-on on the first episode of the AI Summit 2022 Santa Clara. I just want to follow up on one more thing that I want to talk about, which is so please refer to the first episode of today where I talk about all what it is, the Santa Clara conference and all that. Let's focus on what really matters the most, which is why are we there? And let's give some examples of why this is so useful. So why do we go to a conference like that? I think I tried to end the last episode exactly by explaining that, but nevertheless, I want to just take some more time. Um, I'm not going there to, by the way, pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm very open about who I am. I do talk about my intentions, which is really to understand where the industry is going and where the interesting opportunities are coming up. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal or bad about that. People sometimes look at you from a little bit tricky, like in a sense that they probably don't trust you, or they think you're a profiteur or stuff like that. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. What really matters, the most important thing, is that you're open and transparent, and that you tell people what you want. You tell people, I want to understand if this compute platform has a future. I want to understand if your company is doing the right thing to position yourself for, let's say, what's coming, and so on and so forth. Those are the kinds of questions you're absolutely allowed to ask. In fact, I think you need to ask them if you want to run money in a more in a reasonable way, because everything else is that's guesswork. But this is not guesswork, because this industry, let's say this AI industry, the hardware industry, or these kinds of things, they are going somewhere. This is not just random. This is not just, let's say, a situation where you're completely, this is not a random walk. So there is something tangible here that you can talk about. So I just wanted to add this before I go into a very important conversation I had with, and I don't want to mention names here. I spoke with a gentleman that works for a large OEM, automotive OEM, and the idea is that you ask them a question. Our largest position is Tesla, so you tell them, look, guys, what's going on here? How can you compete with Tesla? And the answer is, it's very hard to compete with Tesla because Tesla has an OS, and that makes it incredibly difficult for us to compete. So this was a very, very important insight, and I wanna drive this further. Okay, why is the OS of Tesla so important? When we talk about OS, it's the car OS. So the operating system in the car is one of the hardest things to replicate and build, and that is giving Tesla enormous competitive advantage. Well, what are we talking about here? So a car is a lot of technology, a lot of software, a lot of stuff, and every car, no matter which vendor you buy it from, has that. But there's one difference with Tesla and the others. Tesla has an operating system which integrates all the other components and software and middleware and layers into its operating system. And this allows Tesla to do over-the-air updates a lot more efficiently, amongst other things. It also allows Tesla to monitor the car and understand what's wrong and then improve its manufacturing, which I think explains why Tesla's quality and resale value and all of these things are so high. So this is incredibly important for two reasons. One is it's there, so it makes the car and the experience a lot better. But second, it's very hard to compete because, and this is now the words from this OEM executive, it just takes a lot of money and time and quite frankly, know-how to do this, and we don't have it. So even if they wanted to do it, they can't do it. And I think this is something that sometimes goes under a bit. Even I think Tesla doesn't talk about it enough because Tesla doesn't want people to talk about this, because this could become an antitrust issue. This is how important this is. However, having said that, Herbert Diess did talk about this, and I think Herbert Diess, I questioned his methods, bullying Tesla and all of that, but nevertheless, he knew what he was doing. He knew where the problem was, and he said that if we want to do over-the-air updates, the way Tesla's doing is we need to have our own operating system, and Volkswagen was not able to build that system. So I think this is, to me, this is a big insight from this conference, And again, one of the beautiful examples of why it's so important to go to these conferences. There was another side note, just as a tangent here. I met another car OEM executive from a company that has a reputation of being very conservative and not really up to date in what's going on in the car industry. And this executive, again, he confirmed that. So this is just to say that cultures are strong, and they show even if you meet one person, and although those are pretty high level people, but nevertheless, just one person can show you the culture. So I met two car OEM high level executives. One was defensive, honest, and almost a little bit defeatist in the sense that, look, we can't do this, we're trying but we can't. The other one was kind of, it's not happening, putting their head in the sand. So this was just an interesting observation. I also want to talk a little bit more about the car industry itself, because I think the neuromorphic compute side, or the idea that we can have learning on the edge, which is what Brain Neuromorphics was propagating, Jordan Wilson, the CEO, I think this is something Tesla should be looking at. I think learning on the edge, learning in the car would be a very interesting application for Tesla. So this is very important. I want to discuss this on the AI day. Yeah, since I'm there, I also want to mention that I met a representative of DeepMind, and this was also a big honor and really exciting. And the one question I have for DeepMind, I've spoken about this before, is why don't you guys work with Tesla? And I've learned in my conversation that DeepMind seems to be a hostage of Google and Waymo, and therefore is not really interested in the self-driving car space. And that's really, really bad. Unfortunately for us customers and for them, I think it would be a great application of their skills, but it seems to me that that is the reason that they're not doing it. But apart from that, the mu-zero approach in self-driving cars combined with some sort of neuromorphic compute, so learning on the edge, would be, I think, fantastic and could be the road towards level 5. So this is something I want to pursue further. So it's the third thing I want to pursue. The three things I want to pursue is one, CXL protocol to overcome the von Neumann wall. Second, the concept of disaggregation and software-defined hardware and composability. And third, I want to talk about, or I want to pursue further the concept of the idea that we could have learning in the device. This would be very interesting. And that we could combine self-supervised reinforcement learning with some sort of neuromorphic compute. And this could be very interesting for Tesla. Thank you.